Okay, Shannon, you can put us on the record. All right, I think we finally have everyone here on Robinson versus Taylor.
I'm here, sir.
Okay. And Ms. McCluskey, you're here on behalf of Ms. Taylor?
Correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
And Rachel Taylor is also present,
Here for him.
as is Mr. Robinson.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, there's quite a collection of loose items that were sent up to me with this file. I'm not precisely sure what all is up for me to address today. According to the docket, we have objections to a proposed support order and a motion to modify custody, parenting time, and support. And there were a bunch of loose parenting time complaints. I don't know if those are supposed to be in front of me this morning or not. Ms. McCluskey, can you shed some light on this for me?
I can, Your Honor. So on behalf of my client, we filed the motion regarding parenting time, custody, and support before COVID hit. So this has been pending for some time. In the meantime, my client had filed several parenting time complaints because it's one of the ongoing issues is that Mr. Robinson continues to deny my client her court-ordered parenting time. There was a support review done. I think it was a statutory report. I'm sorry, a statutory review. My client did object to that. She filed that on her own behalf. So we just set that in front of the court. The front of the court contacted me about that. Honestly, we probably need to set this for an evidentiary hearing. As the court may recall, this was before the court some time ago. My client filed a motion regarding custody and parenting time. There are a lot of issues. At that time, the court declined to change custody and parenting time, but circumstances have changed substantially in the meantime. As the court, I'm sure the court has reviewed the motion. Mr. Robinson was homeless for a period of time. My client is continuously having to give him money for hotel rooms for himself and their minor child, Camden. There's ongoing drug use in the home where Camden lives. Mr. Robinson is a known drug user. We have a substantial amount of text messages where Mr. Robinson is telling my client that his child's going to know he's king of the streets. He's essentially admitting to drug use and selling drugs. The court is probably familiar with Miss Leanne Crabtree. She has had several terminations herself in front of this court. Very recently, she's actually caring for this child, Camden, when Camden's in Mr. Robinson's care. There's a registered sex offender that is staying in the home regularly. Mr. Robinson has one other child that he only has supervised visits with. It's my client's to my client's knowledge, Mr. Robinson may have had his parental rights terminated to that child recently. There's a lot going on, and my client, when this issue was before the court a year or so ago, the court did rely on an unpublished opinion from the Court of Appeals saying that my client's sobriety did not meet the burden to change custody or parenting time. At this point, my client has been clean and sober for over 4 years. She has her child, Nolan, in her care, who's obviously a half sibling of Camden. She has her own home. She is the treatment administrator at the Flint Odyssey House. She's a substance abuse counselor. She's a state certified recovery coach. Their circumstances have changed substantially since the last order was entered. So we would ask that the court set this for an evidentiary hearing so we can present that evidence.
Okay, Mr. Robinson, you don't need to respond to dispute any of the allegations that were made today. I assume you would dispute them, is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
All right, but what has been asserted, if true, would certainly give a basis for the court to revisit issues of custody and parenting time. I can't determine today whether there's any truth to what's been asserted. The only way I can determine that is by conducting an evidentiary hearing. I think counsel has identified a sufficient basis for me to at least listen to evidence. You would, of course, have the opportunity to respond to that, testify against it, call witnesses on your own behalf. But I think counsel has in fact identified a legitimate basis for me at least to conduct an evidentiary hearing. So I really need to schedule that. I will direct my staff to find an appropriate date, and we'll let everyone know of that date, and we'll make plans for me to hear testimony.
That's fine.
All of the issues identified would be addressed, denial of parenting time, support, etc. So whatever issues are currently unresolved will resolve as a result of me receiving testimony. Well, I guess I should have asked you, do you oppose this motion?
Yes, I do oppose the motion, sir. She's actually has substantial parenting time. I've actually extended that.
Okay.
And-
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get it scheduled for a hearing. We'll send out notices and try to get that scheduled as soon as possible. Thank you all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. We've got a match set yet. I've got a phone number I'm going to let into my courtroom.
Hello?
Yes, I just let a phone number 936. What's your name, please?
Cody Trudell. Kodeytrudell.
Okay, and let's see. So, Mr. Trudell, you're just a little bit early, so I'll
Yeah.
call your case. I'll call your case after I address some other matters.
Okay.
And we're still waiting on Mr. Fallahy, but it looks like Courtney Adams, you can come forward. This is the matter of Adams versus Adams.
How far do you want?
You can come to one of the chairs and have a seat. Okay, your case with Mr. Adams is scheduled for a pretrial today. Do you expect Mr. Adams to appear?
He was outside. They said only one of us could come in.
Ah,
I didn't get anything about Zoom.
that's all right.
And so,
He can certainly come in. Would you call downstairs?
he probably went out to my car. But
Do-
the other.
Do you have his phone? Do you have a phone number?
I do.
I can,
Can you,
Yeah,
can you text him with your,
Yeah, I'm gonna
device?
try to get that. I gotta turn it back on because I disconnected everything, so it will be disturbed the court.
yeah, just tell him to come to the door, and if you could call down to the desk, to the security desk. You have their number?
I'm sure it's on this list here somewhere.
You know, I'd be surprised if it is, because they never used to have a phone down
You want me
there.
just to run down there, Judge? It might not be that much slower.
Sure, and tell them that they can let Mr. Tyler Adams in.
Tyler Adams, okay.
I actually do not have his number on this.
But can you send him so you can't even send him a message?
I don't know, because I don't have his number. I don't know if I.
But you know where he is.
Yes, he's just down in front of the courthouse.
Why don't you go get him?
Okay, I have one more question.
Yes,
My son, as you know from the court papers, my son's biological father is also with us, so that hopefully we could get all of the stuff taken care of today. Is that possible, or do you just want Tyler?
sure, he can come up too, but we need to have his name. Why don't you just go down with her?
I'm
And-
sorry.
And that's fine. Once you get down there, ask her for all the other two names, and then tell them that I definitely want them allowed in to come upstairs.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Well, Shannon, you can take us off the record. We're clearly not ready to do anything yet. So, Mr. Trudell, it's gonna be just a little while.
Okay.
We'll leave you in the meeting room, but I'm gonna turn off